Well, greetings everybody and welcome to yet another edition of the Inworld Review. Self is cracking slightly, so do not expect premium results, broadcast-wise or broadcast voice-wise. Anyway, we are back and today's, believe it or not, the last day of August. Yes, indeed, August the 31st of the year 2014 for those internet historians of the future. That's for your benefit. And I'm Malbones, and I'm joined by, Tara Yates. Hi, Tara. Well, hi, Tara. And
oops, I was muted. Hi there.
And we're also joined by our wonderful camera woman who will be leaving us this week, in fact, for an extended break. And
don't tell everybody. Hello.
Oh, no. Yes, it will be all changed shortly, but she's not going far. She'll be around and she'll be back, but temporarily leaving us for organic world stuff. Now, unfortunately, it is a holiday over in America. Yes, where everybody but
What do you mean, unfortunately?
I was going to say, I was just about to mute myself, and I was like, I beg your pardon?
Wait, it's
a good thing.
Yeah, what it means is, what it means, to be honest, is that I can't find any guests to come on the show at short notice. The Relay for Life people have just been having their closing ceremony and deciding on next year's theme. There is an event going on LEA 24, which involves Thursday Ember and a load of people from the Hypergrid Safari. And sadly, Maria Koloff, there's a slight chance she'll pop in and join us, but basically there was something, again, in the organic world that she had to do today, and she was pretty certain she won't be back in time to do the show, so it will be incumbent upon me to read out the headlines from Hypergrid Business, won't it? Anyway, I missed a full intro there. You can tell our heads aren't fully with it today. We are, of course, coming to you live on Sunday at noon. We're broadcasting from Chilbone Second Life, and we are brought to you indeed in association with AView TV. And yes, that's the formal introduction that I need to do. So, despite the absence of Maria, I think it has been a fairly quiet week. I've been reading a lot of the blogs, and of course all the blog news is saying, summer break over, we're back. And I'm feeling just the other way. I'm feeling like it's about time I did take a break, even though it isn't summer anymore, I guess. So certainly we'll be seeing the likes of the Dratster's radio program coming back for real this week, as opposed to all the replays he's been posting, and quite a few other things that will be sort of starting up for kind of the autumn season, or at least the autumn season in the northern hemisphere. Lord only knows what's happening down under. No doubt we'll find out about that in due course too. I'm going to quickly go ahead with some of my links for the week before get those out of the way before we do anything else. The first one will be possibly of interest to people. I don't know whether this works in Second Life. I doubt if it does, but it's a link to a free graphical user interface editor that can read and edit OpenSim setups via using your regions.ini file. Basically, it allows you to position regions and do things like that using standard cut, copy, paste functions. And it supports mega regions and partial VRR regions too. It's this application, and it needs Microsoft.NET Framework 4.5, which is no surprise. Everything on Windows needs something else than Microsoft's. But for those of you interested, that may be quite a useful tool, and that was just posted up earlier today, in fact, which is why it's top of the list. I'll be coming to this next one shortly. Looking at Hypergrid Business, which is, of course, at hypergridbusiness.com, Maria's site. I'm just scanning down her headlines. She's had articles this week on RAID, which, of course, it actually says RAID brings Second Life Grid, but I think actually they're referring to OS Grid, which sadly is being fixed, but they've got outside parties in fixing that, and it will be a while before they're up, I gather. But she basically had an article about what is and how to protect yourself, RAID, that is. She has another feature on a real estate project going virtual. It's basically about the Panoptic Group, and that's one of the groups I believe that Keystone Bouchard works with as well. She's got more elaborate description that she covered last week on the show here about creating what she calls work-safe avatar skin. It's basically the idea that you create your own skin and shape and everything offline, and then you kind of upload it and put it into as many worlds as you want. And in the course of doing that, you can create a work-safe avatar, or at least put some clothes on. And another post, in fact, on how to put your own face on your avatar. And one of the other links, I might as well give it you. You might as well go to Hypergrid Business for this. The Kokua viewer has branched off some OpenSim code. Now, the Kokua viewer was always hailed as a successor to the Imprudence viewer, which was used for many a long time as most people's preferred viewer for OpenSim. But it has always, like many viewers, Varston and such, sort of stuck with Second Life code. To a great extent, because they want people to download it to use on both. But because of Linden Labs licensing issues, the Kokua viewer is now branching off a separate version that is specifically for OpenSim. So you'll be able to get a Kokua OpenSim viewer or a Kokua. I hope I got this right. Second
That's a
Life
tough
viewer.
one for some reason.
It is indeed, yeah. Maria announced on 28th of August that 8,000 people are expected at this week's Utherverse convention and job fair. And indeed, on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I was at the VirtualCon using it was a piece of software for VirtualCon, but it was basically just an avenue into Utherverse. And I will be commenting a little bit more on that later. But I was there for 3 days. I did do some filming, but I won't be publishing any of them because you can't use your camera properly in Utherverse, and I might actually put them up as audio transcripts, but there's certainly no point in taking up 19 minutes.
Did you get their permission? Did they
No.
know?
Yes, but
okay,
they have some of their own cameras in there, to be honest, and it's possible they have tools that weren't available to the public. So I'm going to wait and see what theirs are like. If they're the ones they've done are better quality and have face movements and stuff like that, then we'll put those up at some point. But as I say, I'll talk about that a little bit later. The Proto Awards, the Virtual Reality Foundation ever Virtuality Awards called the Proto Awards in Los Angeles on September 18th. The deadline for nomination, if you're interested, again, that's at Hypergrid Business, is actually tomorrow. This coming Monday, which is, of course, tomorrow. So if you're watching this live and interested in nominating something for that, this is your last chance. Go to Hypergrid Business and look for the post called Proto Awards Submission Deadline. She also has a feature on 5 ways virtual reality is already helping medicine. And the below that seemed to be last week's anyway. So we'll stop there. I am tolding that. I'm tolding. What kind of phrase is that? I'm told in the back chat here that our voice may be fragmenting a little bit. I can't tell.
It's kind of off and on. It's not too bad, but if anybody notices it, we apologize.
Okay, viewers on the channel, welcome. I see a few people. You're probably in the chat room there. If you do detect anything a bit fishy going on at live stream, squawk live in chat, and we will see it. And probably not be able to do it, but there again, you can always try.
Well, and it's also distinctly possible that the audio is a Skype issue, not a live stream.
Right.
There are so many so many wheels and cogs in bringing you a program like this that it may seem simple when you're watching it, but it's there are actually just too many things that can go wrong. And you know, Toll's Law, they probably all go wrong at once.
Right. I'm sorry, this is really off topic, but very quickly, did you get new shoes?
Avatar shoes?
Yeah.
You mean, well, yeah, not that I know of.
Okay.
No, those are
before.
actually, yeah, those are actually fairly ancient shoes.
Are they really?
Yeah.
I think those are pre-mesh shoes.
Yeah, but they
Just
they
checking.
do have a nice, they have a nice, they do have a nice HUD where I can change their colors. textures,
Very
and
nice.
stuff like that.
I like them.
Like
They're
that.
nice. They look velveteen, very comfortable. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, fair enough. I was saying that it was about time we focused on in-world accessories and fashionable stuff this week. It's been a long while since we moved to the in-world stuff. So I don't know, maybe, you know, with my shoes and a convenient tree to kick, we'll be away. Anyway, back to that in a minute. I'm sure Tara will bring us into that. One other, oddly enough, it's not in Hypergrid Business's listings, but August 28th, a couple of days ago, a final one from Maria. It was actually a reprint of a press release. Homido virtual reality smartphone, HMD, is bringing VR to the masses. And this Homido is a company moving in the footstep of Oculus Rift, Morpheus VR, and Google's Cardboard. They're bringing VR to the mass market with this first multi-feature iPhone app dedicated to smartphone HMD headsets, also known as VR smartphone adapters. This basically idea, this seems to be that you can put your iPhone in a contraption. We ever heard this before, and you would then be able to watch basically everything that's happening on your iPhone in 360 degrees spherical videos, just like being seated at an IMAX theater. And of course, with many mobile phones coming online at a pretty high resolution anyway, this could be, could be a very useful thing. I did read in the blogs just yesterday, or it might even have been this morning, that the new iPhone that is coming out is rumored to actually have a resolution that is greater than HD video. So, this is on a phone screen, let alone an iPad.
Wow.
So, it's significant, where the quality of these things is actually going. So, if you've got a better than HD iPhone screen and you strap it into this contraption on front of your face, who knows what delights you may partake of therein. Anyway,
what delights you may run into.
Exactly, yeah. So all that stuff at Maria's site, hypergridbusiness.com, and I think that's the last one for hers. A tech site that occasionally pops up in the feeds is a site called Motherboard. Motherboardvice.com. I'm just copying the link over now. I think it's off there. And, well, come on, move. Yeah, there you are. And the title of this headline is Time Travel is Totally Possible. What? Where am I going, you might think? Well, of course, in brackets it says in virtual reality. And this is taking the idea of putting time travel, simulated, of course, together as installation in this particular research from the University of Barcelona and Interdisciplinary Center somewhere else in Israel by the look of it. And the paper about this has been published in the journal Frontiers in Psychology. All these links are available in the article if you follow that lead. Interesting. I mean, in some ways, it's nothing new. Even in Second Life terms, you can go to a build of ancient Rome, for example, that's sort of pitched partly role play, partly educational. Role players perform the parts of actors, doing the things that would be done in ancient Rome, be it the sort of the affluent rich or slaves, the slaves that are the poor. And you can see it in real time, but you can just wander around and observe different facets of the culture, the architecture, and everything else. So, the idea of traveling back in time by a virtual installation is very fun indeed. I'm quite intrigued by that kind of thing, because these are, these may be civilizations or buildings that we know quite a lot about through, archaeology and stuff like that. But there's just no, without VR, there's no tangible way of actually experiencing what those civilizations or buildings look like, and virtual world allows you to do that. So, nice one. That's the new hobby of the week: time travel via virtual reality. And once again, I've got a slow responding browser here. Now, by far the biggest news of the week. Our friend Philippe Took, Chris Collins, of course, from VirtualCon, put up a press release earlier in the week saying, Open Simulator Community Conference, or rather Open Simulator Conference, announces High Fidelity CEO Philip Rosedale as its keynote speaker. I don't think we'll be getting any more criticism from Philip about the hypergrid not having enough people on it yet, which was used to be his old about not having internet connectivity. High fidelity is something that part of it at least seems to be almost influenced by the hypergrid. So I can see very good reasons why he should be coming to that conference. Although it's not strictly open sim, I can see very good reasons why high fidelity should be covered there. So he will be the keynote speaker, which could mean a bit more traction for OCC. It's already expecting last year's visitors, and it's probably now going to get the whole Second Life too. So whether they can all fit on 4 sims, I don't know. I'll have to see. But that should be quite the highlight. And by no means certain at the moment, but I'm actually wondering if we will do an Inworld review on that weekend from that conference, and maybe have a few keynote panelists, so to speak. But that's in the back of my head. Nothing is set on that. So if you'd like to know a bit more about that, the press release is all over the place. Let me see. I'll give you Daniel Voyager's blog here because he reprinted it. So did Maria. You can find out more about that from the press release itself. Right. Okay, we have a couple more here. Right. This is incidental item, really. So much happening in VR, inverted commas. You don't know where to look these days. Command your own holodeck with the iPad Mini. And this is what's laying down my computer. There's an extensive animation cycling through here. Right. For $50,000, yes, just a pocket change there, this unbelievable 3D illustration system could be yours next year. Well, exactly. I think the price says it all. You don't need a virtual reality headset. All you actually will need is an iPad. And the iPad will sort of give you controls that will allow you to literally interact with other people in 3D. It's not so much a virtual world as a collaboration space. In other words, the idea seems to be that 5 of you are designers, and you log in together with an iPad, you move into a 3D space, and then you collectively would participate in a project to create an erection of some sort. That sort of general idea. So definitely a hardware-driven thing, and also something I suspect would have corporate uses, because at that price it's actually very unlikely to have too many home uses at the beginning. Right. And put that link away, and we'll get to the final, the final 2 links I've got here. Oh, yes. Again, this is Daniel Voyager's blog I've got. Basically, we did announce this last week, but it's now underway. Relay for Life in the Inworlds platform. That's Inworlds with a Z. It's a separate, closed, open SynGrid, a bit like Second Life in that it's not part of the hypergrid. They are having their own Relay for Life events, and these actually start. Oh no, I've got it wrong. It doesn't start till 9 a.m. next. Oh, hang on. This is contrary to what I'd already been told. Okay, well, according to this post, it actually won't start till 9 a.m. in the morning of Saturday, the 1st of November, as opposed to tomorrow. I thought it began in September.
I think I heard them say that it is in November. They mentioned that this afternoon at their closing ceremony. So,
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And it really doesn't make sense to do an event like that on a non-weekend.
Well, yes, I actually I had.
They always do the Relay for Life. The walks, the actual 24-hour real world walks are always done on. They may start on Friday night, but they're Friday night, Saturday.
All right. I'm just looking at a bit more notice here because I believed it was actually quite a long period event. In fact, I'm right. It started last Saturday, 23rd of August, the 3rd season kickoff. And that's Relay for Life Inworld's the season. But the main event will be themed A Future Without Cancer. And that's the actual site for that is being still built at the moment for that other date. What they do, which is quite interesting, and you'll have to be obviously in Worlds to follow this up, but if you go into Inworlds, if you look up a location called Muse Island, 2 words, that's MUSE space Island, coordinates 122 20522. And that is the new home of Relay for Life Inworld. So you can go Inworld and find out more by going to that destination. Right, now I'm going to, as I say, it's a bit of a sparse show today, so I'm going to talk a little bit later about this event that happened at VirtualCon on the Utherverse platform a bit later. But for now, I'm going to hand you over to Tara here for her news and take on the week. So over to you, Tara.
Thank you, Mel. Greetings. Everyone, if you're enjoying a long weekend, I hope it's a nice long weekend. And if you're not enjoying a long weekend,
you just made me dizzy.
I don't know why
I just got dizzy.
You just got dizzy. I don't know why you're not enjoying a long weekend. That's assuming you're in the US of A. Or actually, Canada observes a holiday tomorrow too. But I know the UK had they jumped the gun and had their bank holiday a week ago. Anyhow, well, first off, we do have a little show and tell. This seems to be a little bit of a ritual, and I haven't really done much of any in-world browsing this week. So I got a couple of items that actually have become real favorites of mine, or a designer has become a favorite of mine. The store is called Hayabusa Design. The designer's name is Mitsuko Kitori. I suspect, based on the stylistic work of the way the sim is set up, that Mitsuko is Japanese. But what they are producing are some wonderful trees that have wind. So I'm not referring to the human use of that vernacular, but rather to the fact that the trees move as if in the wind. And so on stage here we have a tree, and this is a tree that moves in the wind. And the other thing that's very cool is these have you can control how much wind they are experiencing. When you own the tree, you can just click on the tree and you can change the wind setting to be windier or less so. And this is a kind of an ordinary wind, I think, is what I've got it set to on this tree. And you can just kind of see it moving. And you get a field of these, and the impact. You don't realize how qualitatively different a forest that has motion in it feels as far as reality. as far as the realism level. I will comment that if you have a bunch of these set to fairly high wind, all kind of grouped together, it does get a little dizzy. I haven't done that myself, but I observed that in a couple of spots at Hayabusa Design.
Can you turn the wind up on this one so we can see, or is that a
Sure,
little bit too much?
sure. I'll turn the wind up. How about if I give it a strong? How about it? What do we want? Do we
Gale
want
force.
a strong
Yeah.
gale force? Okay, we'll have it. Then this is a tempest. There's a light tempest, and then there's a full tempest, and this is the full tempest.
Whoa!
There it goes.
Holy moly! That's going
Yeah,
all right.
it is a serious.
I'm quite curious in terms
That's
of strange, surreal art installations. Can you have one tree with wind direction coming one way and another tree with the wind direction coming another?
Yeah, that's
Which
a
would
great
look-
idea.
It would look wrong, but could open possibilities.
It
Well,
looks like the tree goes all over the place, kind of.
You can certainly. Yeah, and these trees. I mean, you can turn this tree so because you'll notice the tree has some curve to it.
Yeah.
And if you duplicate it, curve it the other direction, then it looks like it's blowing the other direction. And
nice
it looks kind of
Yeah.
odd.
I like the tree. It's very nice.
But anyway, this is one of a number. I've got a couple that have blossoms on them. There's a variety of different styles. So anyway, and the other thing is they have at least one grass and flowers set up, and that I can see that Pet Love is moving her camera around to catch those, and those
segue.
are also
Beautiful.
Yeah, they're really nice, and they move too, and they have the same variety of settings as the trees do, as far as being able to set how much wind they have. Anyway, I have a link. The sim name is just a minute here. I copied it and I put it in chat. That's where I put it. Yeah, I'll give you the link here. That when I can do, I don't multitask well.
Chewing gum and describing Sims
and
don't go
copying
together,
links
right?
and talking to and it just doesn't fit. But I'll put
hear
the link in chat here in a little bit. Anyway, well, Mel mentioned the Kokua viewer bifurcation to accommodate two different strands, a Second Life version and an Open Sim version. A couple of other little notes on third-party viewers. Wednesday, the Alchemy team released a further beta version of their viewer, and they're calling this a celebratory release, marking their inclusion in the lab's third-party viewer directory. And I haven't looked at this. It's probably worth looking at. It's available for Windows in both 32 and 64-bit, and Mac with Linux referred to as coming soon. And in one of the comments that Inara Pei made in her little review was the most notable change she ran across was they've changed their UI, their user interface font. So it may be worth looking at. It sounds like they've actually paid attention to that detail at a level that perhaps other people haven't paid attention to. Firestorm has issued yet another warning that they are, as of September 12th, Friday, September 12th, version 4.5.1 will be blocked and will not get you into Second Life. This does not affect anybody using a more recent version, and actually it's several versions back. Pardon me for the background noise. We have some roofing next door. Can't help that.
Yeah, they will turn up bang on time, won't they? Never mind.
Bang on time.
Bang on time, yes. Well, yeah, buzz on time. Anyway, this is Firestorm's part is in keeping with the Firestorm team agreement with Linden Lab to only allow, as far as possible, only the most recent 3 releases of Firestorm to connect to Second Life. And this is basically to keep it more closer in sync with the changes and updates that Linden Lab has done. It does not affect Mac users. The Mac user version is still 4.4.2. Let's see, wait a minute. Where was the note I was going to add? Oh, I was going to comment on Kokua. One of the divergence on that is there have been a number of features that Second Life has introduced, Linden Lab has introduced to Second Life, that don't exist in OpenSim. Also, the OpenSim code has progressed in its own direction independently of Second Life. And so as those differences increase, the importance of having two different viewers becomes more important. So it's actually, I think that's a good thing. Although it does mean you do have to maintain two viewers, but hey, that's not a big deal, especially given all the things you can do in OpenSim that don't work in Second Life.
Yeah, if anything, I would say that's to be preferred, because on OpenSim, especially on HyperGrid, you have a separate avatar as well, separate inventory. So using the same viewer for both, there's a collision in the cache, for example, if they're sharing the same cache and stuff. So it's probably best to have a Second Life avatar, a Second Life viewer, and an OpenSim avatar with a HyperGrid viewer.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Last item in the Eat Your Vegetable segment, group chat. We've mentioned before that there have been ongoing issues and ongoing work by the lab on getting group chat to work. But the important takeaway that I spotted in the comments from this week's third-party viewer meeting is that they are basically, there are some of these group chats that can be a result of a chat server needing a chat server hosting group with a specific letter at the start of their ID stops responding. So basically, the rule is if you're attempting to do group chat, and especially I think if you're the group owner, and chat stops working, they should raise a support ticket, because what they need to do is the gremlins or the the hamsters in the back room. The hamsters in the back room need to boot the server. Need to restart the server. The chat server. It's not the sim server. It's the chat server that needs a kick in the butt. So if you encounter that, that's the good takeaway, is let Linden Lab know, raise a support ticket.
But you know what?
For getting the service.
If you do that, and they'll turn their attention to it, and they'll fix group chat, but then voice will break. I'd rather have voice in group chat. I'd much rather have voice and lips. You got to choose your battles.
You got to choose
being facetious here.
Don't give Linden Labs any idea about fixing things when they're not broken in the first place. You
got to think a little further ahead. Stay a little ahead of them, because we know them better than they know themselves sometimes.
There's, that one of the things you get to the fall and things are kind of slow down over the summertime, and you get into August and things get real slow, but all sorts of things get scheduled to start in September, and this year is no exception. And there's several items, one of which caught my attention from an RPA's blog this week, an exhibit at Galleria Mexico. A new exhibit that opens tomorrow by Jem Preiz, Preiz, called Geometry's Genesis. He's apparently quite a fractal artist, and this is flat art. This isn't 3D art, but from the pictures of it, it looks very intriguing. She had a preview invitation to go. Anyway, it's Geometry's Genesis presents a display of two distinct halves bound together by a common theme: humanity's quest for knowledge and understanding, and where it might eventually lead us. What also caught my attention was the exhibit will be up at Gallery Mexico through until the end of September, alongside a number of other exhibitions hosted at the region-wide gallery as part of Fiat, the Fine Arts Tour of 2014. I couldn't track down any further information about the Fiat Fine Arts Tour of 2014, if that's just in that sim, or if it's something that's happening elsewhere around Second Life. So anyway, it's Geometry's Genesis, and the sim name is oh yeah, one of those. OMETEOTITL. Ometeotl. I guess it's probably Aztec. That's what it's got, that TL on the end. I have a slur, and I'll paste that in the chat here in a little bit.
Thank you.
So don't try to butcher that one. And in the same vein, let's see. Yes, the other two that caught my attention were yes, our friends. Oh boy. Yes.
I think it's like Slap Happy Sunday or something. Anyway,
it's Slap Happy Sunday. Yeah, it really is. Well, I'll come back to that one in just a sec here. The Arcade Gotcha event, the next round starts on Monday, tomorrow, and of course getting into the sim will be impossible for at least a week, unless you're very persistent or do it really late at night. But they provide a preloader HUD, which is free, which will preload the pictures, which makes it a great deal easier to figure out what you want to spend your hard-earned lindens on, and that's available through the Arcade Gotcha events group Inworld. So that's that events group also is handy because it can be the source for some trading if you end up with 3 of something and you're trying to get another item out of a particular vendor. Anyway. The other item was just a minute, and we'll be there. Yes, well, let me come back to that one.
We can come back later if you want.
Yeah, we can come back. Yeah, well, yeah, no, but I can bring up what I need here in shortly.
You're supposed to be off today anyway, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Which you are, actually. Yeah. No, just kidding.
I'm definitely off. Yeah, there's no question about that.
No, I feel your pain, believe me.
Yeah.
It's okay.
A little interesting.
There we are. It's Mad Peas. Our friends at Mad Peas.
Are they closing? What are they doing?
No. They're launching a new hunt tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Called Greenmire 2, The Gathering. It begins at Exodus Rock Club. They're kicking off at the Exodus Rock Club at 11 o'clock a.m. tomorrow. The hunt is nothing, then here's what they say about it. The hunt is nothing like you've ever seen from us before. It's a full-blown narrative point-and-click grid-wide adventure, and there are 2 paths to choose from with different endings and different prizes. Ooh.
They have to make it more complicated still. There's hard enough anyway.
It sounds like perhaps they have taken advantage of some of the pathfinding and the additional permission stuff that the lab has made available. So that sounds really like a lot of fun to do. Let's see. Just one quickie on Philippe's news release on the OpenSim on Philip Rosedale keynoting, and I thought the statement describing his keynote was pretty interesting. Mr. Rosedale's keynote presentation will address the question, "What is the metaverse?" and discuss the opportunity to develop an open platform for virtual reality over the internet, including new hardware devices that catalyze entirely new kinds of interactions between avatars. Which certainly sounds like it describes what high fidelity is fiddling with.
I think Philip's byline at the moment is "death to mice" or "death to the mouse." which is a good indicator. I mean, all his recent talks have been saying, the future will not include a mouse.
You're going to have to pry one from my dead fingers, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
And maybe not for virtual worlds, but
I'd be glad to see them
anyway,
go. That would suit me just
yeah,
fine.
well,
but anyway, yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
My last slide. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is sort of a nice segue out of the Philip's topic for the OpenSim. OpenSim conference, just to get it on your calendars right, it's November 8th and 9th, and they're opening registration September 15th. And if you go to the OpenSim conference site, there's a place where you can sign up to get a reminder of when registration starts. And as last year, I'm sure they're operating on the same basis this year, where those who get into the Sims, the number will be limited, so that they don't end up crashing Sims and creating all kinds of problems. But everything will be streamed, so if you end up on the waiting list, you'll still be able to watch it without actually being in the Sims where it's taking place. So stay tuned on that, but I'll toss the link in for that momentarily too. And my last item, fascinating article in The Verge, which I have to spend some quality time going through, called The Rise and Fall and Rise of Virtual Reality, Voices from a Virtual Past, an Oral History of a Technology Whose Time Has Come Again. It's many pages long. It's live interviews with numerous people who have been involved, going way back, like into the 80s, with virtual reality gadgetry and efforts and all that sort of stuff. Fascinating. I think it should be a must read for anybody who's interested in virtual worlds and virtual reality and VR and the hardware and everything else. Very, very fascinating looking article, and I didn't have time to read it all yet. And that's it for me.
Okay, well, thanks, Tara. That is a great segue, because one of the other links I've actually got open here, and I've put the link in our back channel, so it'll get to our viewers shortly, I think, is actually a link from Garen Laval's blog, slgovernormarley.com. And the post there actually reads about virtual reality potentially taking killer apps a bit too far. But this has actually been triggered off by reading that article at The Verge. I think Karen is a she. I can't swear to that. But she actually quotes quite a lot of stuff. That was actually an absolutely fantastic article. In fact, it was a lot of sort of combined articles. Laid out as a series of sort of interactive pages. And one of the highlights there, of course, was an interview with Vice President of Engineering of Facebook, Corey Ondraker. I can never pronounce his name right, but of course he was one of the co-founders of Second Life with Philip. And although he wasn't talking about virtual worlds as such, he was talking about more the technology and the interfacing. It's fairly well known that it was Corey who persuaded what is the chap whose Facebook called? I can't remember. Zuckerberg, yeah. It was Corey who persuaded Zuckerberg to look at the Oculus and ultimately buy it. So his movement behind the scenes is sort of quite important there. So as Tara said, a great thing to follow up there. Right, so I've given you that one, haven't I? Once again, while Tara was talking, I've opened too many tabs for my browser to cope with as usual. I think what did Tara just put in about geometries? Oh, she's just given the Genesis art exhibit. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll just add to what Tara's there, and I'll give you the link to Nara Pay's blog on exactly the same topic that Tara just mentioned. Nice read about that, but she's already covered it. So I have a few other links here to Ziki Questie's blog. The first one of which I'm sending over. as well. This is The Long Way Down, as opposed to another blog called The Long Way Up. Apparently, it's all part of the same thing. Opening today, in fact, it opened at the exact time our show went on air, so there's another thing that's hijacked us. It's an exhibition called Long Way Down, compressing an impressive series of works by Ini Inaka. And the artist overlays Second Life imagery with other textures, particularly maps and other elements, to create strange compositions. And anyway, if you want to find out more about that, read that blog, because there's an awful lot else going on with this exhibit. It actually involves several other. Well, she points out that the gallery that's showing this, which is called, let me see, Nitro Globus Gallery, it is right next door to a number of additional galleries with work by Tutsi Navaratha, I think, Navaratha. They make a machinima, but not a name I find easy to pronounce, I'm afraid. So do that, check up on that one.
You're not the only one.
Yes, I'm not surprised, really. It's just a few syllables too many that don't quite ring. Also at Zika Quest's blog, a piece on another exhibition opening called BR Art, the Pink Edition. Yes, Pink Edition, indeed. That's actually opened yesterday at 2 p.m. BR Art Pink Edition. It's the Holt Way Art Space. And again, just follow that link to get more. I can't see an obvious slur on the page I've got open. The gallery where this is showing actually has works by Fuchsia Nightfire, who was on here the other week, of course, Brino, Awesome Fallen, and a whole load of other people too. So as often is the case, you go to one of these things and you look next door and you've got a whole choice of the things sort of congregated in a similar space. So worth checking that out. And there's a final one from Ziki here where this post concerns it's not the old social network that you may remember from way back when. It's actually an installation in Second Life called MySpace. Yes, indeed. This opened up Friday, and it had a concert. This is at LEA 24, and the installation is by Betty Toureau, and it's simply called MySpace. And it's you will land there and you'll meet flying saucers and pyramids, and you can even ride on stuff, and you can wear a rocket hat apparently, and various things like that. And I know for a fact that John Nakaimu was actually playing there today, as the show is on right now over at LEA 24. Don't go yet, please. But well worth a visit to that sim as well. You can find that by just typing LEA 24 into the into your favorite viewer, whatever your map. Yeah, whatever viewer you're in. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Now here's a blog I've never come across before. At least not posting on this channel anyway. The blog is called Pure Eggs and Spam. Yes, good old English breakfast there. They used to fry the.
Say you must have been hungry for that one, huh?
You won't get me near it, but I think they used to fry spam when there was no bacon free or something.
Right.
Anyway, Look Away Faith is this post. The author was checking some old landmarks for places to take pictures and stumbled on a sim she'd come across, and I have actually been to many times, actually, because there are various shops with some interesting things there. The sim is called Baja Norte, BAJA space NORTE. And it's got beaches, it's got animals, and if I remember rightly, the odd shops there, they're very sort of small shops with just quirky things in them. It's not like a big shopping mall full of all the big designers. I think it's just lots of little, it's a bit like going to a seaside town somewhere, going into all the little local craft shops and finding all the little stuff they've made on offer. You know, there's no sense of that big supermarket side to it, but they have some other interesting shops there too. And apparently, in fact, the purpose of this article seems to be to remind people that they've got some very cute little houses that you can also rent as well, rather like Tara's little houses on the sim adjacent to us here in Chilbo, but they look different. It's a seaside environment. So yep, I've given you that link. That is fine. Next blog is the title. Well, the link is very different from the blog's title. So the link is coming over now. Spank my moulines or something. This blog is actually called Lotus Fire, and the blog I don't want to even announce. I think it's Spanish. El Laberinto Perdido. But this is actually an art installation by somebody called Romy Inea, and this is at the Metales sim. It's META normally, and then LES spelt in capitals. And the review describes it as interesting but unsettling work. And you get there. You can decide whether you want to delve into the lost labyrinth of your deepest fears, and defects will take control of you. Live them again and again. No one has escaped, and all sorts of terrifying stuff, which sounds intriguingly interesting. So check out that. Yeah, psychological stuff by the sound of it. So yes, do check out that one if that's your cup of tea. I'll bring Pet Love in here quickly. Actually, the next link I've got open is from Blogging SL, which I think is reprinted. All this stuff is sort of viral, printed all over the place. But this is the Friday Hunt. August drawing to a close, of course, and in fact today, if not yesterday, was the last day for an awful lot of hunts, being as Labor Day as well as tomorrow. This site just has the usual list of grid-wide hunts going on and sim store hunts going on. Even the long list here is probably just touching the surfaces. But of course, Pet, you have a new, several things up on your stream at the moment. I mean, not only the new this week's Happy Hunting, which will be on Metal Wanderer as well when I upload there, which is a nice longish edition again for once. But you've also got a few short clips up, which I haven't been able to get up here for this channel.
They're
yet.
just promos for
yeah,
Happy
I know,
Hunting.
but they're nice. They're nice promos. You've got one for the Hunty Awards.
Right.
One for Happy Hunting's new little parcel where you go and vote.
Right. The Welcome area, Welcome Center.
And another ballot, one on another ballot that's there too, where you can enter your nominations. Is it for the best hunt prize?
Gift of the month.
Gift of the month. That's it. Yeah.
Once a month, we're gonna give somebody a prize for people who voted for their gift as the most favorite gift they've seen in a long time. So we're hoping to give the creators and merchants some bigger nods from their audience, because we feel that they don't get enough credit and enough recognition for how much hard work they do. They do so much work.
Well, whoever wins the prize for Gift of the Month will actually get some free airtime on the show too, won't they?
Exactly.
So this is for all you people offering prizes in hunts. This is your incentive to do bigger and better every time. Give away something that is absolutely so fantastic and valuable that everybody will vote for you. And then
they give away the things they give away. They give away whole Italian villas that are gorgeous, not just thrown together system stuff. They put mesh things out there for people. I don't understand why people aren't trumpeting more about the things that you can get in Second Life through hunts. It's really amazing. It's wonderful. Anyway, thank you for the opportunity to rant.
Well, that show, I mean, you'll be able to watch it all over the place. It's already on YouTube and slashes.com.
And
it's I think it's about 15 minutes this week, but yeah, it actually has got some quite big hunts in it, isn't it? They're good wide. There's a sport sort of hunts,
this week we have the sports hunt with some nice animations. Somebody was giving away animations of kicking a ball or catching a ball in soccer. Well, not catching it, but like beating it off with your wrists or something. But, you know, animations that you don't find just anywhere. And as a filmmaker, we're always looking for those unique animations. You never know where you can use stuff like that. So
I know. It's
exciting.
But, you know, it sounds like that old World Cup thing that was in Argentina, the hand of God, where his hand comes up and punches the ball. But you take an animation like that, and, you know, if you're creative and you think up a story or something like that, so I think, well, it doesn't have to be a ball he's doing it with, you know. That can be somebody, one character punching another character or something.
You find
Not
yourself...
that wants to encourage that sort of thing, but, you know.
That's hard to find too. Even though they're fighting animations all over the place, not all of them look good. So you know, you just never know what's going to work where. So you gather them all up and use them as you need them. So it's cool. And then there was Around the Grid in 80 Days, and then
that's the one I was thinking.
And then the Anarchy Hunt. That was this week.
So quite a selection there. I like the Around the Grid in 80 days. Sounds like fun. You know, Second Life is big.
It is.
You can't get you. I swear to you, folks, that, you know, it may only be the size of a giant city, but, you know, if you can imagine going to a city like London, or a big, vast, sprawling city, and facing the task of walking down every single street in it, it will take you a lifetime to do it. And this is really the case in Second Life. You cannot possibly cover the grid in 80 days. You'll be lucky to do it in 80 years. But the concept of having that challenge is rather nice.
Yeah.
You know, sort of.
Definitely.
You know. You can, of course, it's possible, I suppose, if you just remained flying, you could do the grid in 80 days. I don't know that. Even that would be a challenge, I suspect.
You'd have to devote at least 4 hours a day to it. All those 80 days.
Oh, yes. I'm talking about 24/7, 80 days in flying mode and still missing a few islands. Yeah. Great stuff. Okay, well, the previous link will actually take you to the latest news about all the other hunts, but do look out for Happy Hunting 2. And actually, I did have a segue there. What was it? Oh, yes, we were talking about machinima making and stuff like that. The next link is to machinimasl.com. And this is just more of an update than anything else about the gallery area of MOSP, which has been described in this blog as a bit forlorn lately. Something to do with terms of service changes in August and uploading of material to the Flickr site and everything else. But this basically is a site which is open to sort of machinima makers. And you know, there's ready-made sets and locations and stuff there that you can actually use for filming machinima. And there's a nice picture on this blog of an image by Van Gogh superimposed on well, actually in a very small environment, but so it just demonstrates the sort of setups you could do as like a little set that you might be talking on or something like that. But anyway, that was strictly an update there. But if you're into making machinima, very nice site to check out every so often. Now, Kara's Corner blog. On Wednesday, she posted a blog saying, "Intro, explore Second Life." And for the life of me, I sort of read this and I thought, she's done a blog about sort of for newbies about exploring Second Life. But that's not the case at all, because the word intro is referring to a new sim that has just opened. And this sim has been covered in quite a lot of blogs, Ziki Question and a few others over the course of the week. So people are actually taking a liking to it. It is very weird. My description of it would be surreal. The top photograph I've got here, for example, is a woman avatar in a strange shaped curved bath. but the bath is in a field, and the field is of very unreal colours, and there's a sort of old-fashioned camera contraption by her, and there's like a medieval toy castle in the background, and all the juxtaposition just doesn't make sense at all. So it actually makes you stare at the image more, wondering what the hell's going on. And there's another nice scene of an avatar on a bicycle, but the bicycle's actually up in the air, being supported by balloons attached to it. So she's cycling by pushing wheels. She's just lying there relaxed while the balloons move a motorcycle about, and strange stuff like this. So if I didn't actually post it over, did I? So let's copy that link. If you want to check out Kara's blog here, you can see some sample snaps from it. But then, as I say, everybody seems to be talking about this. A lot of people being quite enthusiastic about what they see when they're going to this destination. So if you actually want to look up the landmark on the map, you actually have to type the word intro, INTRO, because that is actually the name of the sim itself. Now, I think I've got another... right. Now, this is not...
I think I just did that wrong. Kara's article, was that about the sets that are ready for people to use?
Oh, no, that's the Machinima SL.
Okay,
the one about
thanks. I'm sorry to
sets.
interrupt you. Okay.
Yeah, which was, you posted it earlier on. Yeah.
Okay.
And the second link now was just about the thing called intro.
Okay.
The next link is to a site called the Daily Look .de, but it seems to have actually been written by Ziki Questi, not on her own blog, but on this one instead. And this is yet another advertising of an artist thing. This installation, or it's a gallery, is called Fiat, and I've got this May. Tara did mention one earlier.
That's probably the same event.
Yeah, with a different title. Okay, this is Galleria Mexico, and it's by Gem Press. Yeah, that's right. So this one,
that's the one I was talking about.
Okay, well, we've already mentioned that, but there's an additional link I've just posted with a bit more information about that. And likewise, at the same site, Daily Look SL. This may be a new blog, you know. I've got the links, but I've never actually checked out the main page of the blog. So I don't. The Daily Looks SL is unfamiliar to me. La Folie Volo. I think we've got it. Opening on Thursday. That's the Thursday just gone by at Lost Town. Which was something we covered before. This is an installation by Giovanna Ceres, Cerise, titled Il Folie Volo. I'm presuming that's the right pronunciation. And the English literal interpretation of that is The Mad Fight. And the blog just goes into how Lost Town has been hosting various things, and then focuses on this one. And again, I think the pictures probably say it all. You know, I'm just sort of look at the pictures there and think, I must get around to visiting that. And maybe I will, maybe I won't. And finally, there's been a lot of coverage about something called the Koto project. We've mentioned it here before, actually, KOTO space project. And this paste link over. Again, it's an unfamiliar blog. CozySL.com, a cozy second life, and it's got a very nice picture with lots of interplay of light at the top of the page, and it features various links that will tell you more about the project itself, and tease you into go, and it gives you a teleport link to a sim called Midnight Dream, 2 words, Midnight Space Dream, coordinates 158 206 43, and very fine looking, attractive looking sim that is too. And it's a part of an ongoing project, the details of which I actually forget, but it has been getting a lot of traction and talk about Inworld. Right, so I had to, believe it or not, I have some various other odd Second Life links and stuff that we may come to later. But for the moment, I'll just continue on my little rant of the week, so to speak. It's not so much a rant as anything else, but as mentioned, I went on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to the VirtualCon. No, it wasn't a con job. It was short for convention. And it was advertised as a virtual world makers meeting virtual world users. Oddly enough, there's very little mention of many virtual worlds at this conference. It was held on a VirtualCon installation, which they gave you an app for, but it's simply a sort of dedicated destination version of the Utherverse virtual world client. So, once you've downloaded it, you can just use it as a regular Utherverse client and such. It was a very well organized, if somewhat boringly constructed conference. Right or wrong, if you've ever been to a real world sort of conference or trade show, should I say, you will go to these booths, and somewhere behind the booth there'll be experts from the product or whatever, but more likely there'll be hostesses, kind of, and I do say that deliberately, on the front stand handing out information and whatever, and more often than not, some of these hostesses will be kind of scantily clad or whatever. And the first thing that I thought of when I arrived at this conference is, they've got all these scantily clad women running around offering to help me, and I thought, I bet you they've been to one of the things that Utherverse runs, I believe, is the red light district platform. And I suddenly imagined that they'd been into the red light district and asked for volunteers to come to this convention to act as hostesses. Not at all politically, not at all politically correct. This is like saying a motor car which is crap, so you rely on a naked lady sprawled over it, type of thing. I mean, it really isn't on at all, but when it came to metaphors, the organisers clearly had this sorted there. And I don't know whether there's an invisible rule there, but there were lots. There was a main sort of hall with the main sponsors. Then there were about 10 halls off it, and with different things. And they were ranging from selling you Inworld stuff that you can use in Utherverse to advertising, space glasses and all this sort of virtual reality hardware we talk about. And then there was a studio, which was for presentations, and then there was a lecture hall, which was more for panel discussions. Now, I did actually go to this all 3 days. I went to the opening keynote by the CEO of Utherverse, which was actually quite interesting. On the first day, I stayed around for a panel discussion on the future of VR, specifically. On the second day, I logged in for a panel discussion on the future of virtual worlds, slightly different title. And although at first I didn't plan to go on the final day, I actually did, because there were, in the studio bit, there were 2 talks. One was by Pamela Cliff, who we know from Second Life. Probably the only person I did know from Second Life, but another. And she was talking about her the book she authored, The Virgin Handbook on Virtual Relationships. But I thought I was going to be bored, and I was just really sort of showing up to show her some support. But it was actually very interesting, because it wasn't just about relationships. It was about a definition between immersives and augmentives and disassociates. She had everything.
Mm-hmm. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
And she really, she's very communicative and giggly, and was talking to the audience and getting distracted quite a lot. But she was following an agenda, and she really covered a lot of ground. And I thought she was very interesting. And I did actually film this, as I mentioned at the top of the show. This is one I filmed. If I do anything with it, it'd probably be just an audio transcript, because one of the sad things about the verse is that once you've sat down, you're a set distance from wherever you're looking at. There's no way of zooming your camera in or panning around. You're filming space, and you can kill the interface, which helps. But the camera wasn't close enough to see any equipment or anything to make it worth really filming. And it is a shame, because if I'd been allowed to stand in front of her on stage close up, I could have got a good shot. I'd block the audience, of course, but and actually close up, the avatars in Utherverse are actually quite impressive. Their faces move and they do gestures, which I don't think they're wearing any kind of animation. I think it's programmed into the system, but it is a very realistic animation system.
Does Philip know about this?
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if he's nosed around it and everything, just to see what they are. But Utherverse has actually been around a long, long time, and the party on Second Life, which I didn't go to, but it required downloading the beta software of what is a platform called Curio, which is clearly a new updated version of Utherverse, which is in alpha. And but I was disappointed, because although it looked better, it looked very slick. In fact, I think it's been built in Unity. Its actual interface had nothing different. I still couldn't zoom my camera. I still couldn't do anything that I couldn't do in the old version. And it has a particularly annoying habit of where in Second Life we teleport very quickly to places. In Utherverse, you're actually in a small room, like an exhibition hall. And the moment you go through a door into the adjacent room, which you can sort of see, it teleports you into that room. And you have to wait for about 2 minutes where it loads all the props for the next room and stuff. So the immersion is really destroyed just walking from one room to another, let alone teleporting, some different location.
In other words, it's like many games where you move around and you click on a location and then your entire screen changes.
Yeah.
To the new location.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I've come across it before in several cases, but to me, my policy on Utherverse and even the version on Curio is that it's somewhere I'll go to for VirtualCon and to listen to a talk, but it's not somewhere I'd really want to hang around. It doesn't really have the immersion to grab me, despite the fact that the organisation of the event was very professional indeed. They used our sort of technique of having Skype calls open and streaming that audio in to the event. It was all very clear, and they had an announcer for each section and then a moderator for each panel, etc., etc. As for the actual panels, I didn't get to record the first day's panel. It didn't even occur to me to do it, because I was still getting used to the platform, and I thought, I can't get anything decent out of this. But of course I forgot, and I would have been able to get decent audio. The first day's panel was actually the most interesting, although it was described as the future of virtual worlds. VR, virtual reality, and I thought it was going to be focused on hardware. It actually was a very interesting discussion that involved communication tools, communities, and all sorts of other things that we think of as items on the agenda when you're discussing virtual worlds as opposed to VR. And oddly enough, I asked them a question at the very end, was what did the panel feel about the the merging of AR and VR. And it was so funny, because the panelists sort of said they viewed them as very separate things, so maybe somewhere down the line they would converge. But generally speaking, it was a very interesting talk, and it's I hope it has been recorded by the Utherverse people, so we can get access to that later. Day 2, and the panel on virtual worlds as opposed to VR, I didn't manage to record. And although I thought that would be the highlight panel for me, on neither of these panels were any names I actually knew. And it actually turned out to be a more disappointing one, because I think in the whole hour of the panel, or longer, nobody ever seemed to mention a virtual world. It was almost as though the Utherverse people had said, don't mention any other worlds. They didn't even mention Utherverse, mind you. But what was odd was the future virtual virtual worlds panel actually discussed more about the future of virtual reality. They were going on about hardware, and contrary to the previous day's panel, this panel was talking all the way through about the merging of augmented reality with virtual reality. So their viewpoint of the panel the exact opposite of the previous panel. So they answered the question that I'd ended the previous days asking. Fascinating stuff. As I say, very well presented, organized and everything else, but a very quirky platform. But two very interesting panels, even though they ended up addressing and discussing issues I wasn't actually expecting. A bit like this show, really. We never know what we're going to end up talking about before the show ended. So very interesting, and I hope we will be able to get recordings or see recordings of what went on there. The final days seemed a bit too lifestyle-ish for me. But as I said, I went in to, say hello to Pamela Clift, who was doing her presentation. And also, although I only caught a tiny bit of it, there was also a presentation by somebody called Opal Lay. And for those of you who watch this channel and can remember back a year or two, Opal Lay did a weekly talk show in Second Life that was formed called Talk Like Dim Sum. We used to run it here every week. Well, I think there were about 8 editions of it, and they're interview shows, rather like Crossworlds or even a no, it was more about relationships and people in world, but they were serious full interviews. It were, talk, I like to say, and it's a great program. And she also did a presentation at the Utherverse thing. And that's actually going to lead me to that I've got up here. Just a rather interesting summary of the event and the Utherverse platform. And recounts her experience of how they got in touch with her about doing the talk and everything else. So you might find that blog there. Let me get my glasses on again. What is it? Wildo Paller blogspot.co.uk or something. It's in chat there anyway, so you can catch it from there. So that's Opal Lay's take on the event, and as I said, my take on the event. I think I've covered everything there. It was interesting, and worthy of hearing some new voices, that I haven't heard before. I know people on OpenSim, I know people in Second Life, obviously. I know people, there's High Fidelity, there's VastPark, various other platforms, but the people at this convention were all strangers to me. And I suspect there might have been 1 or 2 people there who I would know from Second Life who had a different name, but I didn't. I got a couple of friend requests who maybe people I know, but I didn't friend them because the pop balloon that asked you to friend them disappeared before I had time to take any action, and I couldn't find for the life of me how to do it afterwards. So quirky platform indeed, but used. So that's my little talk on that.
Sounds very interesting.
It was. I'm really glad I took time off to attend it and to experience a different platform, even though it was not really my idea of a really immersive virtual world. Basically, it's very difficult because VastPark is the closest thing I can think of that works on a similar idea, where every location is a different web address. And what you do is you type where you want to teleport to as a different web location. And it's seamless, especially if you're in a dedicated viewer. It simply goes to the installation at another point in the web. And you don't see a web page, it simply loads the code on that particular server that generates the environment. And of course, all the environments are interlinked in the same way web pages are interlinked. You can hop between them. But the virtual world metaphor gets sort of destroyed for me when I realize when I get to the edge of a build, whether it's a huge landmass or whether it's just a small room, when you get to the edge, you can't go any further. You can't walk from one simulation into another simulation. You have to type the address of the next installation you want to go to. And there's something about that is so contrary to OpenSim and the hypergrid and Second Life, where, if my teleport is broken, I can fly or walk,
We're not too spoiled, are we?
No.
Yeah, the only exception, notable exception to that in OpenSim or Second Life is if you are attempting to move into a void sim where it's water. It looks like water, but if you try to go into it, it won't let you because there isn't actually a sim there.
And and if you want to jump to a private island, you've got no option but to teleport. There's no ocean. A boat will not go across unless it's a water sim with one sim.
Yeah, unless it's the Blake Sea or something that is specifically set up with a bunch of water sims for boats.
Pet's asking if it's Unity based. The new platform, which basically seems like a bit slicker and more fanciful version of Utherverse, is called Curio. You go to curio.com or something and download the viewer, and that I'm pretty certain, just from the look and feel of it, has been built in Unity. But it doesn't actually offer any real improvements apart from visual improvements over the existing Utherverse. The existing Utherverse is just if you're on camera angle, you can actually see through what is actually quite a good avatar to what's on the side of them. They go semi-transparent, like a resin glitch. And I suspect the new Curio viewer is actually the identical thing rebuilt in Unity and more stable. Well, hopefully more stable when it's live. But there has been a lot of talk. In fact, I'd like to get Lester on what show one of these days. He has wanted to come if I can grab him at the right time. And of course, as well as being involved with the Hypergrid and OpenSim and everything else, he is actually actively working on things in Unity. But Unity installations, they have the same problem. They are not interconnected. You can make a lovely immersive environment on the web or in a standalone viewer in Unity. You can make a whole game in Unity, and it's a self-contained world, and it's absolutely fine. But you can't interlink another Unity creation to one you've already created. In other words, they will forever be separate rooms, separate worlds, separate installations. And they're not as easy to use as Fastpath. You can't just be in one Unity installation and type a web address and go to another. You tend to be following website links, to using the normal web, and then actually find the Unity plugin when you get there. So it's all a bit convoluted. Anyway. I should be looking at the time here because I have done a very, very bad thing today, and that is I forgot to press the record button. Yes, Pet Love knows exactly what I'm saying. I'll be happy to retrieve the online backup when we finish.
Open up Dropbox.
The other disadvantage is because I'm not recording, my little counter showing how long I've been here is not here either. So we can always just view this as we were talking about this probably being a somewhat shorter show. Oh, exactly.
And go ahead and wrap, and then you're not going to be running over if we move towards a wrap at this point.
Well, yeah. My voice is drying up a bit here, but I do have a few other links to pursue here. But while I'm just checking up on my final links, maybe I'll ask Pet Love, especially as it is going to be the last time you're going to be with us, sadly, for a while. Any from you? Any favourites you want to leave us with, or anything you know is coming up that is of interest?
Well, yes, there are several things coming up from me. I have been invited to film some of the ceremonies that a group of people from Japan in Second Life carry out. They're really specific to the culture, and they're very authentic, and they're on a beautiful, beautiful sim that they've created. I haven't heard you mention it, but I can't remember the actual name of it. But none of this, Japanese-related news you've given us has rung the bell. So I'll have to. You'll see it when it comes out. It's gorgeous. I also released just yesterday on a whim a little bit of an outtake from the Black and Mirror, and you probably have come across that already. And if you haven't, you will soon. It's
goody.
Really
I
funny.
haven't.
It's funny. It's cute. It's an outtake from.
We've been waiting for outtakes from the Black and Mirror
I
forever.
know it's on my list. I have like 5 or 6 things that I want to finish in the next 2 weeks. That's my goal, and anybody who knows me will just laugh, but because I am a slowpoke.
Yeah.
But I have a bunch of things coming out. We have a lot of the RFL wrapping and closing ceremonies for the 2014 year. That'll be coming out. Just, a lot of odds and ends for me. Of course, there's always Happy Hunting. And I just, that's really, I don't have anything specific. I will say that I have really enjoyed my time here with Metaverse Week in Review tremendously, and I'm going to miss being here and hearing all the news and having a chance to interrupt and try to be funny from time to time, because I do enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm going to miss you.
I need that outlet.
I know. It's really great having you here because you've been with us for ages. I'm always ever ready as a camera person, which has been fantastic. And, there's nobody like you on camera, but the fact that you sit here too,
it's
and
pretty
actually
simple.
multitask enough to partake is great because you're great company.
It's my pleasure, and really, it's not as hard as it looks. It really isn't.
No, well, it's not as hard as it looks if you know what you're doing, but most people don't
Well,
know
you have to figure out what you're doing. Yeah, that helps. That does help. Oh, we have Amaretta Breedables, the big, wonderful people who provide the horses, the beautiful, fantastical horses in Second Life, are having their annual birthday bash tomorrow. So you can look for that probably in events or the destination guide. I'm sure that they'll have something in there. But they have a nice lineup. It's about a 6 or 7 hour event, and they have a lot of music. They'll have the Dazzlers. They'll have I think Max Clean's going to be there. I'm not 100% sure, but it's going to be fun. And A View will be hosting that on the Slardist live webpage. And I could probably find that link for you. Actually, maybe Lap can give it to us.
It's @com/pages/live HTML.
Okay.
I do believe. Oh, but yes, Lap is here. I'm sure he'll give it this. And oddly enough, I have not seen this Black and Mirror outtake. I was actually, I didn't load the link because I was going to try and get Sapphire on, but I gathered that the Black and Mirror's third season has been postponed. It's still happening, but
sadly,
year.
we just can't pull it together for this year. So we're thinking we're kicking around some other ideas right now just to fill the time while we gather our forces and get ready to do the last season of the Black and Mirror in the fashion that we think it deserves to be presented. So we'll just have to wait a little longer for it. So sorry to say. Yeah.
Oh, we'll make do with a season of outtakes. I think that is.
I have a project, a video that's about 2/3 done, and the hard part is a lot of this stuff is so funny when you're there, but then when you look back a few months later, it's not quite as funny, So
yes.
I'm having to I'm really trying hard to.
It's also that viral thing, isn't it? Like when you're on a film set, and something goes wrong, and you look at it, and you're all giggling hysterically.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. But when you actually look at the footage of it,
it's like, well, that was
a long
silly.
while later, that wasn't really much fun.
But on the other side of the coin, some of these things are unbelievably hilarious. There was one where we just needed Xander to walk down the street again, right? And he had like a brain freeze and he couldn't remember what his lines were, but it didn't matter because we just needed the video. So he just made up this dialogue as he's walking down the street, like, too bad I can't remember my lines, but I guess I can talk about my shoes are driving me whatever he said, I forget. But, stuff like that is funny no matter whether you're there or not.
There's one thing I can't do, and that is log off being online or log straight out of Second Life before bedtime, because your mind is still cued into your activity, So I always, and often with Tara, watch a concert or a movie, to get me ready for bed, because it's passive, it allows you to wind down and then you're really in the mood to sleep. But the thing I love, so you get to the end of a DVD and you've got the outtakes, it's often, it really makes it doesn't it? You know, you see the actors and all their goofs and things like that. And sometimes it is something really simple, like it's the proper scene, nothing has gone wrong, but the actors just forgot their words, or they sit on the chair that's not, or sit on the chair that's there. And for that moment, having just seen the film, it's hilarious. I suspect if you watched those outtakes in isolation, without the film in your immediate memory, they probably wouldn't mean that much to you. You know, it's within the context of just having watched the real thing that gets all the humour. So,
that's great. Funny. Well, I just found the link for the Black and Mirror release. It was on video, and I'm going to put it in here now.
Oh, very good. Right.
Well, you can watch that. Put yourself to sleep.
I've been sitting here contemplating the possibilities for names for an outtake series from the Black and Mirror.
Right.
You could call it Windex for the Black and Mirror.
Windex for the
Black and Mirror. The Black and Eye. That would go with your. That would go with your punching ball.
I like Tara's better. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yes, mine was Windex for the Black and Mirror.
And a steak for the Black and Eye.
Oh, the
possibilities are endless.
You could play on that. You could play on Agatha Christie and have Black and Mirror Cracked. the fact. Yeah, plenty of ideas. Anyway, while we were talking, Lapasian actually typed into the channel chat here the correct slow for tomorrow. It's not quite the same one I gave you. It's
it's
now I need to. Yeah, it's actually www.slartist.com/pages/ch2 channel 2 HTML. So slightly different from one I gave you. Oh, so that'd be great. Yes, we'll be watching that. So that's his holiday viewing.
And then there will be a short film to commemorate it too. We'll have like a 2 or 3 minute, basically a summary of the events of the day and congratulating Amaretto. So you can look forward to that too down the road. Emo Way will be making that. It's his turn.
Right. Maybe I'll pop Inworld in my horse avatar. I've got a great horse avatar, which it's ideal if you're somewhere where there's nobody about and just roaming around with one other person. But I really like. I've got quite a lot of them. In fact, I've got one really nice horse called Jester that I was in love with for ages. But the avatar one is very different because you wear it and you are the horse.
Right.
But the nice thing is somebody can come up to you and ride you. So you're an avatar, but Tara can click on me and ride me. But I actually can give her a choice of whether she rides me or I take her for a ride. If you see the you see
that doesn't sound right, but I know what you mean.
If you see the distinction, yes, it doesn't quite sound right.
It doesn't sound totally wholesome,
but basically,
that's okay.
It means she can actually drive my avatar and get where she wants. And
that's
my
very
avatar
nice. That's very interesting.
Controlled by her, or she can just sit.
It may be the only time I can get him to do what I want him to do.
Would you take him to a clothing store while you're at it? No, I'm only kidding.
No. I don't. I decided many moons ago that I was going to keep any discussion or suggestion.
No, Mal, you do fine. You do fine, Mal.
Mal's entirely off limits. If somebody else wishes to give him fashion advice, they're welcome to.
No. I would. My only advice would be just change clothes once every 2 or 3 months. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I've only been in this costume for I think 5 weeks.
Yeah. Even less.
Not bad.
This round.
And I've actually grown well attached to this one now. When I got a costume on and I think, oh, that's nice, and I kind of stick with it for.
I'm the worst. I hardly ever change clothes anymore. It's bad. I have to force myself. When I, like this outfit here, I think I've had it on for about a month. Pet Love has, so it's got to go.
Yeah, I should try and change every week, but what the hell?
Yeah, I find myself getting into an outfit. I've sort of gotten into the habit of I make myself wear something different every Sunday.
That's good.
Then I tend for the show, and then I tend to just leave it on for the next week until the next.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Sometimes there are things. Yeah, there are times I come up with show outfits that I really like,
La Piscine has just typed into chat. One day, I'm sure we will have a Malburn's roast.
Would you like that? That would be fun.
I don't actually understand that.
Oh, it's
a roast.
Do you know what a roast is? Yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
Well, I don't eat meat, so it's.
No. It has nothing to do with meat. It has to do with it's a 100% send up for the person being roasted.
It's comedy. It's a comedy show.
It's comedy.
It's comedy. It's you surrounded by people who know you, and we all pick on something that we remember and that we would tease you about. Basically, and some of them get very sometimes they're brutal, like they do them on TV here in the States sometimes, and I find them to be a little cruel most of the time, but a kinder, gentler roast would be really nice in Second Life. I think
I'm usually game for that kind of thing. It's like grumpy old avatars. I mean, that sounds like fun, actually.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe we should start a virtual series, the virtual roast.
Virtual celebrity roast.
It has to be the people who do the roasting have to be people who know the person. So you would have to round up a number of people for anybody who is being roasted. So it wouldn't it's something that would take some real organizing, and you couldn't do one a week or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And have it effective.
Okay, well, Lap, if you want to organise one live on AVTV, round up my friends to roast me. I will come onto your channel.
You're a brave man. Very brave.
Be roasted. Sounds like,
right on now.
Sounds like a laugh, doesn't it? Okay, Malburn's.
All right.
Preparing to be roasted sometime in the indefinite future. I shall be roasted.
It would of course have to be a vegetarian roast, but that can be arranged.
Well, plus, don't forget, we all, just the three of us, know a lot of people. So really, you might only need one or two people extra to roast somebody.
It probably wouldn't be too hard to find a roasting audience for me, so to speak.
We'll get Duza. She's coming.
There'll be plenty. Actually, that is a great idea. And apart from me, I can think of a few other targets too. But I mean,
I meant bring Duza for your roast.
Yes, I was going to say Duza.
Okay, all right. Oh, it sounds deadly. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm actually quite taken by the idea, because I'm an ad-libber, a lot. So I'd be reacting. I wouldn't have to think of lines or anything. I'd just react to.
No, you're the subject. You're not. Yeah, so you just get to sit and listen to this and cringe
and sputter. You'll be sputtering.
Oh, hang on. You mean I don't get right of reply?
Oh yeah, you do. You can try, but they won't.
You do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I will. If insist I have reply. You're not going to get away with slander and libel and no right of reply.
Look at YouTube and just Google celebrity roast in the United States, and you'll get to see a few shows. I'm sure. It'll give you an idea of what it's really like. But again, I said, in Second Life, I don't think it needs to be as cruel as some of those things are. But they're funny. Yeah. People think back and the time you sold that car to your mother for an extra $200, things like that.
In a virtual world, in some ways, because if you're back on your virtual life as a rule, then the things happen in Second Life that would be quite absurd in real life anyway, and they're far much less. They're just as funny, but they're far less offensive or whatever in the virtual environment. So it just sounds like a lark to me, as they say. That's an English expression. That'd be a lark.
I know that one.
That'd be a riot.
Yes, it would be.
Okay, there's one final link I put in. It needs to be copied over. This is another one to SL Governor Barley. This, just interesting, you'll find the link there. Visit Bookstacks Isle. Bookstacks is a Second Life sim, which is a place all about books and the people who love them. And it's actually, if I remember rightly, it's over at the libraries on Caledon, where it's actually based.
Is that the link you just put in, the Governor Marley?
Yeah, Governor Barley. The link
Thanks.
to the actual sim, link to the actual sim is on that blog. If people want them, and it's good,
Okie
great
dokie.
stuff. I'm always keen on the arts and literature promotion. At the SL Inquirer this week, they have more and more articles every week at the moment, or SLE as they're down there. So they're always quite a good read. They focus mostly on lifestyle. They have a little roundup there in the link I've given you of country music in Second Life, just going country in Second Life. A little roundup of country music venues and stuff like that if you're into country music.
Oh, that's good.
And the last one I've got open is talking of Dragon Ash, it's not Doozer, Owl Dragonash, WordPress.com. Okay, here's the link. Through Owl's Eyes, whoever Owl Dragonash may be, a feature on another location called Mistwood Isle. Lovely photographs indeed. You know, these are the kind of blogs where you just see the photographs and think, "Yep, I've got to visit that destination."
Familiar sim name.
Yeah, well, the sim name for this is actually Isle of Seduction. Isle space of space seduction. And the coordinates, in fact, are 104.171.23. Then you can memorize that. But you'll find that slow on the blog there anyway. It just looks good. It may be somewhere we've been. The creator is called Siake Ballyhoo. If that, and it's a she, and she's created a magical escape and opened it to the public. So there you go.
Very nice.
Another destination looks good. In the absence of art, Von Macmillan, basically, can find it to offer a place a day.
She's taking 2 months off. She said she was taking time off in the last blog of hers that I read. To which I replied,
fair enough.
Wah.
Yeah, how dare you? So
how can you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, appropriately. Right. Well, anyway, we managed to fit in some arts destinations in Second Life there for you this week, which is something we haven't done for a few weeks. So we've helped you catch up with various things. Okay, I think we can call it quits. So we will be under the 2 hours for once. Let's do a little roundup. Anything else from you, Tara? Basically, any closing thoughts and whatever. You have one, didn't you, earlier that you're going to look up or something?
No. I found it when I was doing my earlier babble. So I covered that. Yes. Well, obviously I hope everyone who has the long weekend is enjoying it, and we get back to business as usual this week, and more activities and more fun things to do and all that. So enjoy your week. Enjoy your weekend.
Oh, thank you, Tara. And Pet.
What Tara said.
Thoughts?
What Tara said. Everybody have a nice weekend. Get ready for the fall. And everybody think positive thoughts. No bad winters. Okay? No 14 snowstorms this year.
Yeah, true. Yeah, there may some last forever. Wishful thinking, I suppose. Indeed. Okay, well, that's absolutely wonderful. I'd like to say again our special thanks to Pet Love here, who we'll be seeing her again, no doubt, in the future. But for a few months, it won't be live on Sunday, basically. So it's been great having you with us all this time.
Thank you.
And you again. We don't actually know quite what's happening next week. Whether we will actually look for continue to look, I should say, or find some emergency person to take over in camera and do it on a week-by-week basis, or whether we might actually record part of this early offline and make a show which will be partly offline and partly live. It's something we're thinking about. To rest assured, we're not going anywhere. Even if we miss or two on this show, we can view will continue to be published on the Monday, and it may indeed have pre-recorded material that won't have appeared live on the Sunday. But that really is just a sort of turnaround state of affairs. It's certainly our intention to continue bringing you the Week in Review live at noon on Sundays every week on whatever channel it appears on, and then publish it online again later. So whatever happens, I'm pretty sure Maria will be back with us next week because, as I said earlier, she was called away today. And we have various guests, potential guests lined up for future weeks, which is kind of exciting, although I'll tell you who and which week. So life goes on. Life goes on, put it that way. But just expect the unexpected, possibly, for a few weeks. So with that, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to Petlove and Tara, and all of you in the audience out there. Thanks to Lapaisin, of course, too, who's prompting us there. And we will be back in one form or another next week.
That's right.
That's the easiest way to put it, isn't it?
You have alternatives. I think that's the beautiful thing. You do have alternatives, and I'm glad of that. That's good.
I wish I could get to grips with the idea of filming this myself, because I wasn't hosting. I could film it, So I'm actually toying with the idea of filming myself live with an overdub, and then filming the show without me, putting the two together.
Put a flat Malburns in the chair.
Well, I don't need to, I do the intro and record it with my make offline, and then stitch it together with a live recording of participants that don't include me. With no
that sounds
guitars. So there's ways around these things.
See?
Devious things, or actually, I wish there were more shows around, because I could volunteer to film another show and do an exchange job. Wouldn't that be fun? You should film me, I'll film you. Sort of deal.
That's a great idea.
Anyway,
that's a very good idea.
You need to spread these ideas around and see who's up for the.
See who bites.
Yes, see who bites, indeed. And the robot fishes and things. Oh, I haven't seen this. I have no idea what it's like. But in the organic world here, I don't know how many of you know of a musician come mime artist called Kate Bush. She's pretty well famous these days. She performed her one and only tour, which ended abruptly sort of halted. I don't know if she was nervous or whatever. She did mime and performance back in, I think it was the mid-70s, and she's never toured again. And she suddenly made a comeback with I think it's a 22-night residency in London. And it has, I'd love to see it. I think the tickets for all 11 nights or something sold out in a minute. Apparently it's totally unexpected. She doesn't do half her greatest hits or anything like that, but apparently the performance is sublime. It involves mixes of dance and special effects. It sounds like a not possible in real life job. She apparently has machinery moving around over the audience, and she has dancers just dressed in mechanical fish that pick her up and move her around, and just all that sort of multimedia aspect of a performance that's totally woven together. Anyway, that has nothing to do with virtual worlds, but the reviews of this make me thinking, God, that sounds like a virtual world performance. Just the
I'm
mechanics.
Getting a plane
of
ticket. That sounds great. It
sounds absolutely. And she is, of course, those of you know, she's a great singer and musician too. So, yeah. Anyway, that was no diversion. So that's it for the Inworld review for this week, the last day of August. And next time we see you, it will, of course, be September. For those of you watching live or tomorrow in replay, let me wish you a fine holiday weekend, Labor Day in the United States, and a fine back to work if you're in the UK. That's it for now. We'll see you again soon. Bye.